probably gone over this sheet, so I'm going to kind of skip over how's it classified. We talked about that. You have an on-off switch here. That turns it on and off. And then you've got the manometer, and this manometer is attached to this. When you are in conventional, you want when you've got an integrated mean, it will take your, let's get that mean right in a second. There we go. When you integrate your mean, that meter will hold steady. So it will read out your mean. Right now it's reading out a mean of 14. So when you're on, you want the integrated mean on. When you're on conventional, there we go. Your knobs are a little bit different than mine. Then it should read out as you can see, I'm not getting that. There we go. Then you'll get your pip and your P. Okay? And again, let me say, ours are set up just a little bit different. They change the knobs every now and then, so you probably have to buy the new models. So that's what this dial does. It will integrate your mean, or it will show you your pip and your P. Okay? These deal with the side of the bend. So if I'm going to increase my, yep, I can certainly do that. It says pip, increase, decrease. And this is much like the MVP10. You can set your eye time. I believe that this is set so when you have this in the 12 o'clock, it's 0.35. But you have a bend check that you can put in line, and you can see that. And your E time, this will set your range. So that's pretty straightforward. Not much different. It acts a lot like the MVP10 now, much more than the Duotron used to. So that's that. When you go into high frequency, this is your on and off knob. So high frequency is off, high frequency is on. And when you go into high frequency, you have, you'll hear me say flow, but this is your amplitude. But to get the bend to work, you need to turn this on to get flow going to the high frequency side. We tend to run our mean as a stable number. I think Tim last night liked seeing that bounce.
That's Tim.
Yeah.
Yes.
He bounces. So we tend to keep it there, but you know, whatever you like to do. You can get a sense of get a sense of amplitude if you leave it there, but we tend to leave it. Then your frequency is adjusted with this now. Can you hear that frequency change? Your mean is set on this peak valve. This dials in your mean. And while we're on, so we don't bleed through the tank for a second. Let's talk about this. It's pretty easy to tell which plugs into which. You've got your white lines are your pressure lines, and then your red line is the monitoring line, and it's color-coded. Color-coded. So you just plug those in. The other thing, rings. You've got these little purple rings, high-pressure O-rings. We'll talk about those in a second. I think Phil talked to you about greasing those. So that gets plugged in. Your phasotron. And just FYI, you can make these as long or short as you want for your team. They used to be about this long, and you could never reach your baby. So they can make those as long as you want them. The phasotron. We talked yesterday about how you're going to clean these. I don't know if you've come up with your way yet. I think the thought was Sidex. I think St. Louis is using Sidex and they're having problems. So we pasteurize ours. Things. This is the one that has these come apart, and usually they can come apart. Usually you'll see them once they've been pasteurized. This piece actually comes off, and they come apart like this. And once you've used them for a little bit, they're not hard to put together. Okay. Did I give you that grease pen?
Yes, it's over here.
When you're done cleaning these, whatever you've done to clean them, it's important when they get put back together. And kind of our standard is we send them down to thank you. No problem. Just throw it at me. We send them down to be pasteurized, and they put them in a bag, and they do whatever it does, respiratory does, and then they put them in a plastic bag for us until we get a big bag. We have 36 of these. We get a big bag of parts. So the team that's on gets that big bag, and they sit down on the couch and they spread their pieces out, and they go like this. You've got to lube these when you put them back together to keep them working right. So we just run lube around, and you're out of here. You can put it just goes in here. This can run without the spring, like in an MRI, but you've got to have this ring. You've got to have this O-ring. If you don't, it won't work right, and you won't sense why it's not working right until you look at it. You won't be able to get pressure. Something will be wrong. So you just put it back together. This is color coded, so red. Green goes to green. Can you see the color? This is green and this is red. And then your T-piece always goes on top. There's also a piece right here that we glue. And then we stick that on top. Oh, this is the other one. This is what ours look like. You have another one that has this offset that you can down here. I think you guys are deciding what you like. Once they're done, once you've put them all back together, then we have little bags, and we stick them in a little bag, and we tie a knot, and now we know this is a single piece and it's all together. I think the concern that I heard last night was, how are we going to get all those pieces back together? How do we know they're put together? We're going to lose the pieces. We don't tend to lose the pieces, so, but that's what we do. So I just wanted to pass that along. When you're hooking up the phasotron, the pressure line, white goes to white, and red goes to red. So this is your monitoring line and your pressure line. The test loads that you're going to use, I think you're going to have a little bit different test load. Right?
Oh, yeah, we're going to try and get those. Phil's supposed to send us those, I should say.
Okay. The other thing I'll mention is this alarm package. It's an alarm delay, so it's a disconnect alarm. We can't hear it in a helicopter or our plane, so we don't tend to leave it. We don't turn it on because we're always watching our patient. But I didn't tell you that. Now you have to record it. I didn't tell you that. I won't deny it. So that's the alarm package. The other thing is you have they call it a cycling rate, but you have your frequency counter right here. You're going to notice that